Welcome to the preview show. I'm joined today by Louis and Stan to talk about Palace's upcoming FA Cup fourth round match away at Doncaster Rovers. Please hit a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we really appreciate all of your input on the show so far this season. Louis, what's going on? Share the bad news. Nah, you tell the people what happened to you just now. Tell the people.
Oh, just lost a document. That was my sports science course. Hour long crash. Head's gone.
Hey.
But we're here.
Stan, how was your trip? How was your trip back home?
Really good. Always nice to be back home and happy because for the first time since in a while, but probably since Patrick Vieira's first season, Palace have more than one thing to play for in February. So yeah, can't complain too. Can't be too upset.
Yeah. Let's start with a little bit of Palace news since we're not doing a daily news show. Bit of news today. First thing is positive. Ben Chilwell was seen in training today. I haven't spoke to you guys both since and he's not injured yet. Spoke to you guys since he signed officially. So Stan, what are your thoughts on Chilwell signing?
I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. If I'm being honest with you guys, I would have expected us to sign someone more permanent for the position and have a long-term sort of a long-term path forward with that left wing back. But having had some therapy from the back of the Nest group chat, I do realise now that they needed to get Glasner what he wanted. They couldn't do the drift deal. They got Chilwell in on loan. He, when fit for Leicester, was excellent. When fit for Chelsea, won Champions League. He hasn't played in a very, very long time, but he's a Palace player, so we got to back him. Welcome to the club. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that back and Nest chat is going to come soon on the show. We have to start sharing some of that. That's it. It's insane. But Louis, your thoughts on the Chilwell signing?
Some of us will get cancelled, bro.
I wasn't overly excited when the news broke after already been told that it wouldn't be Chilwell. So like I'd already kind of in my mind thought, it's definitely not Chilwell. But I was after a bit of time, you sit back, you look at like his ability, and if he's available, let's be honest, he's a top player and he fits into our system perfectly. And yes, we've got a proven Premier League, Champions League player coming in who can adapt to a three at the back, wing back position. So yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I think the main thing is he's 28. He's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to prove his fitness. Everyone knows how talented he is. And another thing is, he was a big fan. Tuchel was a big fan of his, and now Tuchel's the England manager. So if there's any chance of him getting into the World Cup 2026 squad, well, normally when players come to Palace, they end up in the England squad somehow, especially if they're Chelsea players.
Yeah, I hope it works out, obviously. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I've definitely warmed to the idea. We need a left wing back. I got no problem. Let's hope he does well. Second bit of news was a rumor today that Jesse Derry, our current under 18 star, is not going to be signing a professional contract. Disappointed, but I'm not really surprised. I heard rumors about that for a while. But Louis, what are your thoughts on not only just Jesse Derry, but just real quickly, what are your thoughts on like I believe the rumor was that he doesn't want to sign because he doesn't see a route to the first team or a pathway. What are your thoughts on that in general? Just Jesse Derry and our pathways that we have right now.
If you're good enough, you play. To me, that's you take a look at Miles Lewis Skelly, 18 years old. I think he's deserves an England call up. Wanyeri, 17 years old. Tyler Dibbling. What was the guy from? Is it Josh King? Something King from Fulham.
It is Josh King, yeah.
Yeah, Josh King.
There's another fella at Southampton. What's his name? Centre back.
That's what's his name. Oh, what are you talking about? Not Howard Bellis.
Howard Bellis, isn't it? He came
from City's academy.
He came from City. Okay,
and he's played loads of Premier League and Championship games.
Okay.
So I'm a bit disappointed in the fact that I don't see one player coming through of Premier League quality. We've got a lot of maybe potential, but I would really like a breakthrough player, and hopefully a position that we need, like a right wing back or a left wing back, because you get one or two players that come through the academy. It really helps. One, for PSR issues, if you end up selling them for 20, 30, 40, 50 million, it's pure profit. And also you haven't got to go out and spend 20, 30, 40, 50 million pound on a player. Jesse Derry, he only really played under 18 football. He hardly even broke into under 21s. I couldn't really give two whatevers if Derry stays or goes.
Stan, your thoughts on Derry or just the youth system in general at Palace?
Just on Derry, what car does he drive? No, I'm joking.
I saw group chat again. Yeah.
Listen. I agree with Louis. I think if you're good enough, you'll play. I'm really surprised that he thinks that he doesn't have a pathway to the first team at Palace. I know that he's been banging them in for the under 18s. He's not played for the 23s yet. I think
he actually has. He actually played 21 and scored a couple of goals actually.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But not of a player who is meant to be a big breakthrough player. You wouldn't. An under 18 would be normal playing under 21s. You go to any big club.
You're right.
The under 21s are normally out on loan, and the under 18s are playing the under 21s. Yeah. That's how successful Category 1 academies work. You shouldn't be 21, 20 playing under 21 football. That's not it. The only thing you should do, only reason you should be playing there is to gain fitness. So you're coming back from injury or you're in between loans. Other than that, like you can tell, David Ozo's getting loaned to Championship potential. Raksaki, loaned to Championship. Although he's 21, 22, he's still finding his trade. People like Harvey Barnes was doing that at that age. But if Imre's League 2, so it's kind of a bit of make or break. He's doing really well. But like someone like Jack Wells Morrison, who's been playing under 21s and now has gone to Solihull Moors, clearly not the level that needed. So
it was the same with like Nia Kirby, right? He was touted as a big sort of breakthrough. We got him from Tottenham when just as he sort of turned 16, 17, went and won the World Cup with England, and then like he had a couple of loans here, a couple of loans there, but he was under 23 all the time. And now I don't know where he is now, but it was quite similar. Listen, with Jesse Derry, like I said, I'm really surprised that he thinks there's no pathway to the first team. I think a club like Palace is where he'd probably have his best chance to actually get to the first team if he was good enough. We have a manager in Oliver Glasner who clearly believes in youth. You have got their chance this season, unlike most other managers that have been around. I know Vieira gave a few debuts to Teo and a couple of others, but if you look at obviously Devaney, I know that he came sort of from Scotland and into the under 23 setup, but he's still a youngster. We've still bought him in. Asher's played a bit. Caleb's played a bit. Look, granted, they're not playing week in, week out and turning out for Palace in the Premier League, but they're still young. They're going out on loan, etc., etc. I think that there's been obviously probably some big clubs sniffing around him, probably offered him a fair bit of money, I would imagine. Maybe his head's been turned there. I know obviously his dad is a bit of a legend in these parts for his for his Hillsborough days, and obviously for 2010. But look, if you don't want to sign, you don't want to sign. I wish him all the best. And like I said, I think that our academy is quite new in many ways. Obviously, we had one before this new academy came in, but this sort of world-class facility and stuff that we have, it's still only a few years in the making. So I do think eventually you're going to see one or two breakthrough players, but it might not be next year or the year after. It could probably only start from the year after that and going forward. So I think we have to be patient with it and see what happens.
Agreed. Let's move on to the Doncaster. At the time of recording, they're currently playing actually Chesterfield, and they are losing 3-1. Currently, Doncaster are second in the league. 30 games played, 52 points. Managers Grant McCann, you probably know him as a player.
Yeah.
From Peterborough, right? They play a 4-2-3-1 system. Their best players are Luke Molyneux's a left-footed inverted right winger. Billy Sharp, 39 years old, 7 goals so far this season. Former Forest, Reading, Sheffield United, LA Galaxy, surprisingly enough, player also. But Luke, what are your thoughts on Doncaster? Do you know anything about them? You know, League Two side. Anything else you want to add about how they play, who they play, or the players, top players, that stuff?
Do you know what? I don't really know much about Doncaster these days. 15 years ago, maybe, because I remember when we was in the same league and we drew 0-0 to them to stay up. That's about the same last time we was playing in the same league. But yeah, I know last year they went on like a mad run at the end of the season. I think they won like 10 games in a row, and then was around that ended up making the playoffs and then getting battered in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they've obviously carried on the form from last season. They've done well to knock out Hull on penalties. They've got an ex-Palace Academy player, like we're talking, another one, Rob Street, that found his level. Yeah, so listen, they'll be up for it. I think it's the biggest gap of this round in places of teams.
Premier League, League Two, yeah.
It's Monday night. They'll be playing at their 100%. If we're playing anywhere lower than 70, 80%, it can be a banana skin.
They have a Chelsea loanee keeper, Stan. His name is Teddy Sharman Lowe. He's got 7 clean sheets this year. They're undefeated in their last 4 league matches. But again, like I said, as of recording now, they're actually losing a game. Do you have any insight or thoughts on how we maybe should approach a game against Doncaster? Lou mentioned it is a very big gap between League Two and the Premier League side.
I think we should approach it like we approach any other game. To be honest with you, the FA Cup is very important. It's very important to Oliver Glasner, any cup competition, and it should be important to us. Listen, yeah, I think they're going to be up for it at home Monday night under the lights. BBC iPlayer showing the game, so they'll be on the telly, and they'll be up for it. So if we turn up not really fancying it, then we might get found out. So yeah, approach would be like any other game.
Lou, are you worried about Glasner making any major changes, or what are your thoughts lineup wise as far as what would you want to see on Monday night?
Well, we can't really make that many changes at the back. Do you know what? I would prefer they use this game as more. I would rather a lot of the first team play for 50, 60 minutes and get the game wrapped up than start with weaker players and then panic and maybe have to bring a few big hitters on. Also, I think we're taking 3,000, 4,000 fans or whatever on a Monday night. So I think they deserve a win and to make sure there's no banana skins. I'd play Turner, maybe a Klein at right centre back. I would definitely try and keep the spine. I'll try and give Adam Walton 45 minutes, Nketiah 90 minutes, Kamada 90 minutes. Chilwell, I'd like to see for a half at least. So a team that can definitely dispatch Doncaster, hopefully in the first half, if I'm being honest, so the game doesn't drag and we can get minutes in the legs of all the players, because Everton at home is a massive game and a massive test for us. So I'll have one eye on that, but also we win this game, we're 3 games from Wembley, so I definitely want to go through without any hiccups.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I do want to see some changes, because I think we have certain players, and I'll go through them in a bit, who need to get some minutes. I think Turner needs to start, has only played like League Cup games. I think Klein needs to get that start at right centre back, because I think that we need to see if he can actually do it. It was a year ago, really, he's done it on a regular basis. He hasn't really played there back there. I need to get Wharton to get some minutes, whether it's the start of 45 or the second 45. Wharton has to get some minutes in there. Wouldn't mind seeing Hughes get a bit of a break, because he's played a lot this season. And then attacking wise, I need to get some confidence for both Kamada and Nketiah. So for me, they both have to start. And then on the other side, you're probably looking at Esse getting a start possibly. But again, I'm not sure if you want to ring that many changes. But like you said, you got to take it seriously. It's a cup game. They're a decent League Two side. We want to advance to the 5th round. But those are my thoughts on lineup. But Stan, what about you?
Pretty similar to what you guys are saying. You know what? Like, we played Sunday, so we've had 8 days off. So the guys should be well rested. I would be tempted to, I'd say, apart from maybe, like you said, Kamada and Nketiah, I'd be tempted to go as strong as the strongest we possibly can, just to get the play, just to keep the rhythm, etc., etc. You know, because like if you rest all your best players, there'll be 14 days without a game, maybe even longer, and that's not good for anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like if you, I think take it as seriously as you possibly can is what I would say.
Yeah.
Lou mentioned before, Stan, the 0-0 game. Do you have a memorable Doncaster game that you can think about before we get to predictions? I have a couple.
I've got one because we played him in the cup a few years ago.
Max, I'm going to mention, Mike.
I was there.
There you go. Max Meyer. I said Max Meyer scored. I think Schlupp got the other one, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
And we beat them obviously quite comfortably then. I think we got to the quarterfinals that year, actually, if I'm not.
That was when
Watford.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And so I remember that one. Honestly, I remember they were in a championship. I remember AJ scored against them one year, the year after we got relegated. I think we drew 1-1 with them. They were a mid to lower end championship team for about, I think, 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And they've sort of dropped up and they've gone down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. So that's what I know about them. Yeah.
Real quick, before I want to get Lou's thoughts on that game, that the game he said he went to. But do you remember when Parish and Co took over CPFC 2010? We played them at home, championship, beat them 1-0. But I bet neither one of you can guess the scorer.
What year?
Loney.
2010.
November 2010, and it was I'll give you a hint. He's a Spanish Loney.
Pablo Canaga.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Nice one. Very good. Yeah, Pablo Canaga.
Wow.
Yeah, there've been some interesting games. Again, you're right. They've taken a fall. They were a championship side for quite a bit. We played them a lot in the championship. That game I mentioned 1-0.
There's one Kieran Djali scored away from home.
That was, yep, exactly. Yeah, they've actually beaten us. They beat us in championship 2011 September 1-0 goal by a former Palace player. 1-0 2011. You mentioned him in the chat. Played for Palace and John Oster scored exactly.
So when we drew to them 0-0, it was the penultimate game of the season, I think, because we drew 0-0, and that kind of confirmed our safety. And there was probably about 1,500 Palace fans, and that's when we started singing Three Little Birds.
April 2011, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Remember, it was a really hot day. And we was all stayed behind for about 20 minutes, and the players came back out, and everyone started singing Three Little Birds. And I think the following game, that's when Ibra scored on the last day of the season again. Yeah, against Hull. But they said that kept us up, but we had already stayed up from that Doncaster game.
All right. So Lou, before we go into predictions, give me some quick thoughts on that FA Cup game with Max Meyer and Schluppy scoring 2-0.
It was an absolutely shocking game.
Was it?
I think it was a Sunday, and it was freezing cold. Yeah. It was freezing cold, and I remember all the trains were cancelled on the way back. But you got to see a Max Meyer goal. By the way, I think was it like a weird left foot deflected shot as well. I can remember.
It was like a header back post.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Schlupp's one was the weird deflected.
Schlupp was the weird right. It was a nice left foot shot on the side. It deflected into the right to the far post.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doncaster is. I think it would be a good away day in the sense of maybe a league game on a Saturday afternoon. But listen, it's a terrible area, by the way. Like, there's nothing really going on up there. And it's one of those new soulless bowls stadiums, but like a mini version of it. That's just like all the same level. It's a Monday night. I'm not wasting any brownie points going there, so I'll watch it on a lagging BBC iPlayer instead with D on the watch along.
We're doing a watch along for that game.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, people, tune in for that. That should be fun. You know, D and Louis watch alongs are epic. You have to tune in to those. All right, let's go into score predictions. Again, just some stats real quick. We played them 17 times. Palace have 9 wins, 3 draws, and they've been 5 losses. We've only played them once in a cup, and that's what we just mentioned at the 2-0 game a few years ago. So I'll start with you, Stan. What is your prediction for the game on Monday?
3-0 Palace.
Like the confidence, Louis?
I'll go 2-0. And Ketia Walton goal on a backflip. Actually, no, he ain't gonna backflip because it's Doncaster.
You can't take a chance.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go in Ketia and Chilwell.
Chilwell, yeah.
Goal score. That's
because he'll score, and then the whole of Twitter will be like, "What a masterclass this is!"
And you'll get recalled mid-season recall.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Palace 3, Doncaster 1. I'll give them a goal just because they're home. They might get a goal. I need Nketiah and Kamada goals. Whoever gets the third, I don't really care, but I need them to get some confidence, the fan base to get behind them, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, that's it for the preview show. Please be sure to check out the watch along on Monday with D and Louis. We'll also be doing a match reaction, and then sometime Tuesday, Louis and I will be dropping our play ratings. I want to thank Louis and Seb for jumping on today. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, up the Palace.